Is up, sports fans? We are back for another episode of The Fan in the End. I'm your host, as always, Steven. Right underneath me is the big man himself, Mr. Ben Troupe. Also being joined with the man on the mic, Mr. Marvin Powell III. Gentlemen, how are we feeling today?
Blessed, man. It's all good. Got me a new background.
I know you feeling good, Steve. I know.
We'll get into that in a second. There's some things I feel good about, some things I feel bad about, some things I'm downright pissed off about. But as are always, each and every one of these episodes here on the South Florida Tribune is brought to you by our good friends over at Fight Wax. Fight Wax is the ultimate skincare defense. Help treats against cuts, swelling, scrapes, and abrasion, rejuvenates and restores stress skin. Customers have used for soreness, stiffness, and recovery designs for athletes of all active lifestyles. It provides an ultra silky, non-greasy feel, deep hydration for everyday skincare. Helps fight dry skin. Customers have used for skin disorders such as psoriasis and eczema. And when you're heading over to the website, please make sure you use that code SFT15FW and save on your order. I got my little kit I was using on my girlfriend's son because he was getting bit up by mosquitoes, scratching himself raw, and helped him heal him up pretty quick. So also got some stuff in the refrigerator for you guys. I gotta send you guys your Fight Wax out before, sometime next month, my friends. I'm gonna get that. Okay. But obviously we were talking about it last week. Marvin did not want to hear it. He did not want to hear it.
I didn't believe it was. Yeah.
Did not want to accept the fact that it was going to be Philadelphia. I got by one of those parody accounts, but turns out it was 100% spot on. LeBron James has signed with the Philadelphia 76ers for a 2-year, $8 million contract, which, from what I've seen, is the biggest pay cut any player has ever taken. It's almost a $50 million pay cut to sit here and play for Philadelphia for the next 2 years. They're in a good spot, man. So I was already sitting there saying if that was a possibility that, the Sixers damn near recreated the Avengers right here in front of our eyes. There's a couple different things that I think they're good, that are great, and I don't really see a downside to this. Like, the only downside of it is kind of the media circus that's going to come with it. But LeBron doesn't have to be the top scorer. He doesn't have to be the top option. He doesn't have to carry the team. You still have Tyrese Maxey, Jaylen Brown on the team. And I got to think Brad Stevens, too, because if Brad Stevens trades Jaylen Brown anywhere but Philadelphia, I don't think LeBron James is here. I honestly do, regardless of, what the package Philadelphia was going to put together. I think that firmly put us into that conversation unknowingly at the time. But bringing LeBron James here, and we talked about it last week. Ben had talked about it. The ticket prices from last year's preseason game to this year's preseason game, the jump it already made. It's a $2 increase for the preseason opener. So he's going to have that economic effect on the area. And not even that. I don't know if you guys seen this. He has now had the highest selling NBA tops card in history. They sold over 200,000 copies of his card. They probably made when he was at Fanatics Fest last week. To be honest with you, right? And I think the only other sport or person that has a higher selling card, from that was the Shohei card when he went over to the Dodgers. I think they sold like over 300K units. So merchandising, all that stuff, I think LeBron is going to bring a lot of fun factors to this area. And I think the question is like, and I don't even think the question. I think the Sixers all season moves means it's championship or bust. And I think that's fine with everyone in the area. As I said, it's been since 1983 we haven't won a championship. haven't been to an NBA final since 2001 when we lost to the Lakers. I've been hard on him for some things, but there's a lot that he does well on and off the court that he is going to be a vital part of if we're successful, come March, come April. So I guess I'll start off with Marvin on this one. What are your thoughts, man? Obviously, you didn't think this was going to be a possibility when we were talking about this time last week. You've had just about a week or so to digest this. What are your thoughts, brother? King James here, Philadelphia. Farewell.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, hindsight's 2020. But I guess, and you said it, when you consider getting Jaylen Brown to Philadelphia, and you're looking at this just from a basketball perspective, where does it make the most sense? I was big on Miami just because, I've always felt like LeBron didn't really want to have to play down low if he didn't need to. And with Bam and Giannis, he wouldn't have to. And he kept talking about family and, his kids, love L.A. His wife loves L.A. So I'm thinking, the furthest they would go would be Golden State, right? I never thought it was realistic he'd do that. But Rich Paul said when the Sixers got Jaylen Brown, that changed everything. That changed everything. And when you look at that starting five, and I say starting five lowly because, Embiid going to give you about 40% of the season, and you just hope that he'll be available in the postseason. That's really what it comes down to because they're a difference maker when he's on the court. No offense to anybody else, to LeBron or anybody else. When that 7-footer's on the court, that's the difference maker right then and there because you don't have many teams that can really defend and match with that. You know what I'm saying? And then you think of, ever since LeBron got in the league, he's been the king of the East. Nobody can deny that. He's 100% been the king of the East just based on the amount of conference championships and conference finals. And, so he has familiarity there. The West is, at the top just with San Antonio and Denver. I mean, them is juggernauts, you know what I mean? And we're not even talking about, Denver, if they got Murray and Jokic healthy, you know what I'm saying? So I was shocked. I think they now are the easy favorite in the East. I think even if Embiid doesn't play, right? Even if he's missing games, they still got dogs over there. I mean, they got scored. There's no pressure on LeBron James to have to be the bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like he literally has 3 or 4 other dudes that can drop him when it's hot. That can do it. You know what I mean? So for LeBron late in his career, I don't think winning a championship is going to be easy for anybody. But trust me, if you had to say it, this is probably going to be the easiest path, especially coming out the East. So from that perspective, it makes sense. Now he's talking about, they're saying he's going to be taking the helicopter. He's going to be living in New York most of the time, doing the helicopter. Man, listen.
I'm glad you mentioned that because there are some fans that are like, oh, like that means he doesn't really love Philadelphia. He's not. That's bull stuff. If he wants to take a helicopter every day,
those are people with no options in life. Those are people who don't have options to do what they want when they want to do it. LeBron has all the options in the world, okay? So for him, just like Kobe took a helicopter to work every day, he's going to take a 40 – well, rest in peace, Kobe. That didn't end well. But, the 45-minute helicopter ride from Manhattan to Philly, that's a commute. That's driving in L.A. It probably took him an hour to drive to practice from Bel Air to the Lakers training camp. So this is nothing for him. This is easy. When you're a billionaire, you got options. Most people out here don't have $1,000 in the bank. They don't understand options. You know what I'm saying? So this dude got options. You know what I mean? But Braun made a genius move. In my opinion, he's been making genius moves his whole career, which is why he's at where he's at. But people don't want to talk about that. But this was a great move, man. The city of Philadelphia. Oh my God! I mean, them fans should be ready to get a ring because right now that's where my money's at.
All right, what are your thoughts, Ben? Obviously, me and you were one of the few that thought that this was viable beforehand. And if you remember correctly, We were talking about it about over a year ago, saying it would be crazy if when his contract would come up if he came to Philadelphia. Well, it's here now. It's not a what if. It's not a fantasy. It's here. What are your thoughts, Ben?
The Philadelphia 76ers are benefiting from the fact that the New York Knicks won the chip. If they lose, I think he goes to New York because he lives in New York. But here, people think it's Jaylen Brown. I think it's Tyrese Maxey. You talk about a dude. I'm just looking at. I had to go through and look at what these guys average. Tyrese Maxey averaged 28.3.
Here's the thing: when you put up their starting five from
It's
last
ridiculous.
season, what the average points were, the average is 120 points a game.
It's
With the
I mean,
starting five that the Sixers currently have.
without Jaylen Brown, Tyrese Maxey averaged 28.3. BJ Edgecombe averaged 16. Right, and Joel Embiid averaged 26.9. You add Jaylen Brown, 28.7, and LeBron was averaging 20. LeBron was averaging 20.9 points a game in year 23. I don't even anyway. Philadelphia made the most sense for LeBron for a lot of reasons. The biggest reason is I want a city that is dying for a chip in basketball. And when you talk about that fan base, LA, they're going to love him for life because he brought a chip. Cleveland, going to love him for life. Miami, going to love him for life. The reason why Miami, he's already done it. Cleveland, he's already done it. Philly, he gets to go, hey, I get to do what Charles Barkley couldn't do. I get to do what AI couldn't do, right? And I think the thing about LeBron is, it's something you said, Marv, about Miami. Well, LeBron, it's a difference when LeBron got to score and when he won to score. You know how much dangerous that makes LeBron? When he goes, I don't got to be when people start talking about scoring titles, LeBron said, I just didn't want that. You know, if I could have led the NBA in scoring every year if I wanted to, I averaged 20. They're some of the best players you ever seen play ain't averaged 20 in a year. LeBron did that in year 23. And the only reason why he didn't make an all-NBA team is because he didn't play in 65 games. LeBron told Philly. Now, Jaylen Brown was the icing on the cake. Like Jaylen Brown, it's a 76er. So you got two former finals MVPs. You got two current regular season MVPs. Tyrese Maxey has superstar written all over him. And because LeBron gonna be on the squad, people gonna watch him even more. I was giving you 28.3 a game last year. I do agree with you, Bob. The East is pissed. Because when LeBron left the East, it balanced itself out. For 10 years, one dude controlled the East. He went to 10 finals. Most guys want to go to 1. He went to 10. Now, the balance has shifted. You know who's pissed?
Let's look at the East. Let's look at the Eastern Conference.
Man.
Let's look at the East.
That's not going
If they're let's just say all the teams that are listed here are healthy. Who's gonna run with them? The only one I can think of is the Knicks. The only one I can think of that can go blow is going to be the Knicks.
I mean, that's James Harden. Unfortunately for him, the only thing that I've heard some rumblings when it comes to the Heat that they might be in line to get like a DeMar DeRozan, maybe even trade for a Kyrie. Now that'll balance a lot of stuff if Kyrie does go to Miami. But here's the thing about LeBron. I'm gonna tell you another reason why he loved, Tyrese Maxey. When LeBron was in Miami, people don't talk about this. I think the three best duos I've ever seen, I'm talking about winning chips, is, you got Mike and Scottie, you got Kobe and Shaq, and you had D-Wade and LeBron. They were a nasty combination. I think LeBron wants to be able to play with a young guard, right? And the balance of power has shifted because nobody shifts it like LeBron. LeBron is like, bro, they wouldn't even put out the schedule until this man signed. I don't know what it's like. Once again, here we go again. I don't, at least, you've had, Dr. J, Charles Barkley. You talk about AI.
That's the one thing. We talk about AI, right? But you don't hear not a single Sixer fan. But he ain't gonna be like AI. You don't hear the Sixers fan running them down. The only people that's running it down now is these stupid media members. We're gonna get into that in a minute.
But it's something that Marv said. Look, when I decide what I want to do, when I want to do it, with whom I want to do it. No, you know why they really pissed? Because they can't get exclusive interviews with LeBron. See, if those same media members sat down with LeBron and he gave, because now all that's when I get to talk about LeBron from afar, but now he's in my city, a lot of that stuff is lies. And when Charles Barkley talk about LeBron to chasing rings, everybody is. Everybody in the NBA should be a ring chaser.
I hate when they say that.
We're gonna go over that whole thing.
Nothing screams jealousy more. When I'm sorry, Charles Barkley was ring chasing when he went to Phoenix. Yes, he was. When he went to Phoenix
and Houston, they want to forget about Houston too. They want to forget about Houston.
But here's what happens when your playing days are over, and all you got is that mouthpiece. You only sound crazier because I go, look, Chuck had to deal with Mike. Then a lot of people had to deal with Kobe and Shaq. Now you got to deal with LeBron for all these years. And what is going to happen is if LeBron does the unthinkable and he wins a chip with Philly.
You want to know why Barkley's saying this? You want to know why he's saying it? Because if LeBron James wins a championship, no one's ever going to speak his name in Philadelphia ever again.
It's look. It's like this.
I love Chuck. Don't get me wrong. I love Chuck. No one ever gonna talk about Charles Barkley ever again.
LeBron James knew if I go to LA and I don't win a chip, my legacy in LA will be null and void. Right? But I don't consider LeBron a top 5 Laker. Top 10, maybe. But LeBron said, hey man, I want to know what it's like to win a chip in LA. And he won the hardest one there is in the freaking bubble. When it comes to checking them, you sound bitter when I'm like, dude, you should want this man to go to Philly and win this thing because at the end of the day, everybody's not going to win a chip. Everybody's not going to win. But LeBron is saying, every team I've been on, we won a chip. Anthony Davis, why did he have a chip? Dwight Howard, why does he have a chip? Kyrie Irving, why does he have a chip? And the list goes on and on. D Wade already had one before, he got Miami. So for me, I just think that when you think about LeBron and what he means to the game of basketball, Tyrese Maxey, BJ Edgecombe, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid. Now Joel Embiid going for the first time in his career, not saying he's going to feel real pressure because now you got a dude that can help you get all the way there and win that thing. I don't think he's had players before. But I just think Here's
the thing about Joe. He's not hurt. He's not having surgery this offseason. He's actually
sitting down.
He's actually healthy. And I don't know if you guys seen this. He went out there a month ago and had a 2-hour meeting. Him and Joe sat down there and had a conversation about basketball, about everything else. And when you have a situation like that where you're sitting there and saying the more pressure's on Joe. I think when you look around, I think this is going to be the least amount of pressure he's going to have. Yes, obviously you're going to have to get it done when it comes down to the playoffs. You're going to have to be healthy. You're going to have to be available. But the fact that he's not going to have to sit there and whether we win or lose is going to be on his back night in and night out, I think is going to having LeBron James.
Well, here's the thing, right?
Spotlight on Joe as much. Go ahead.
Here's another thing with LeBron James effect. You see how in shape Luka is now? You saw how he looked before he got to LA? He don't look like that now. Because LeBron will say, hey man, you want to play a long time? Or you want to have longevity? This is what you gotta do. This is what you do, right? With Joel Embiid, when LeBron says something, Joel gonna respect it. Ain't gonna be I ain't listening to him. LeBron got the whole meeting room. Hey, bro, this is what it takes. And y'all the young bulls. I get it. I'm diverting to y'all. But people don't talk about what is Golden State gonna do now, right? What does Miami do now? Because they were waiting. Draymond Green didn't sign his contract to make room for LeBron, and LeBron didn't go. He's like, well, I might as well sign. Look, I will never ever. There are 3 players that I will never ever see again. Well, 4. I ain't gonna see a Mike. I ain't gonna see a Shaq. I ain't gonna see a Kobe, and you're not gonna see a LeBron again. The problem is, you know how many people say, "Wait a minute, LeBron James, he's still playing." Yes, we talk about LeBron like he's, breaking down game. LeBron is not gonna go on the media like Tom Brady did, even if they give him that type of money. LeBron say, "Hey man, I can sign for 2 years, $8 million, because I'm making that much bank away from basketball. I'm making that much cheese."
I guarantee he's got some incentives in there or something. There ain't no way it's just 8 straight up.
Look, listen, people are struggling to give LeBron his flowers in real time. But what's going to really happen is when he retires and he's done, the new standard to justify free agent moves is going to be, are you going to win a championship? Because everywhere LeBron went, he won a championship. You know what I'm saying? You can't say he went for the bag. You can't say he went for the weather. When he went to your city, he delivered a championship. Okay. That's really, and you don't see that in any other sport, since free agency started in any of these sports. You know what I'm saying? He's the first one to really capitalize on free agency in ways that we've never seen. Meaning, typically when a guy leaves, he's going to get the bag. He's going, he's going somewhere who's going to go pay him, whatever it may be. Bron, the mission never stopped for Bron. He's always been a businessman. We saw that with the moves he made when he was in high school, turning down $100 million deals. You know what I'm saying? For him, it's always been about greatness, and people don't want to say that because they associate that with Kobe and Mike, and they hate, but he is redefining how we evaluate free agent moves and purpose and intention and agenda, because again, every move he made resulted in championship, and you don't really have players who can say that about 4 different spots. So
no, and people talk about the super team, right? Who broke the super teams up? Who broke up a Boston? That would be LeBron. LeBron is the reason why Kevin Durant has a chip. 2 of them. Draymond is calling Kevin Durant like, bro, listen to me. We need you. This dude is a problem. Who? LeBron. So, and guess what? Kevin Durant has been a part of super teams since he left LeBron. What has happened? Been to Brooklyn? He done been everywhere. Right? People talk about how many teams LeBron been on. Kevin Durant been on a bunch of them. And it ain't the same, right? It ain't the same to have to carry a team than to just be because even though Kevin Durant was the best player on them
Golden State
teams, yeah, right? The culture was already built. They had already won a chip without you. It's just LeBron is a problem. Because LeBron was down 3-1, came back and beat the boys. Like, what? Hey, Draymond was like, he wanted the player personnel department say, give me Kevin Durant's number right now. I'm calling him right now. Because I just felt as though Philly was the most attractive. And LeBron want a fan base that's gonna rock with him. Philly is a different type of fan base. They're gonna talk that talk, they don't care. And they saying, hey man, when I can't remember, I think the Phillies had a game. Well, all the Phillies walking by saying LeBron James, you got baseball players who know who just came to the city. I saw Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavs, and freaking LA Lakers jerseys in the stands. Why? LeBron here. Who? LeBron, let me tell you something. There are basketball players now can be walking the streets of Philly. I ain't talking about Philly. You might not know him. When the last time you seen LeBron do anything regular? He can't. I can't do what Jalen Hurts can do. Jalen Brown can walk the 6 streets of Philly. You know what people gonna say? Where LeBron at? Where LeBron at? And there ain't nothing wrong with that.
Ben, I'm happy that you brought this up because people forget that arguably the greatest comeback in the history of American sports, regardless of sport, is LeBron James being down 3-1 to the greatest regular season team in the history of the NBA with 4 Hall of Fame players and a Hall of Fame coach, and coming back from that with Cleveland to win the chip. That is the greatest comeback in the NFL, baseball, whatever it may be. And, you talk about, LeBron at his best, compared to any other player out there, that is the most under-talked about, underappreciated achievement ever. And that's who he is, though. That's who he's been. You know what I'm saying? And man, Philly needs to just stand up and applaud.
Steven gonna have to do Steven After Dark when it comes to basketball season, because you're gonna be like, look at how much of a LeBron just pisses people off for so many reasons. He ascended and killed the business world, the corporate world. Like Warren Buffett being the financial advisor, look at what happened. Him and Maverick are turning down deals. Rand Paul and all these guys with Adele. It's like LeBron is saying, y'all mad because I'm killing all y'all now. You want to talk business? I'm better than that. You want to talk legacy? Better than that. You want to talk family? Better than that. And I think that's the thing about LeBron is, do you know how many helicopter companies like, please pick us? They pick them. Because guess what he's going to do for that company? Guess what their sales about to do? We got LeBron. Hey, LeBron, can we put you on our official? No. We don't want you to pay us. Why? We it's going to be our pleasure to fly you back and forth, right? You know who was hoping to get it? The most senior guy, the guy that was getting ready to retire. Man, I was going to call it a career, but LeBron here, I think I got about 2 more years in me. I'm just saying, man. And look, I just know that LeBron, he hasn't everything he's done hasn't been great, but it's hard to say. That man don't miss, man. He don't TV, movies, he don't miss. And now, them finna cheesesteak people saying, hey, bro, if LeBron comes here, we got to be ready when we see him. So, hey, man, shout out to the, like I say, I'm a Hawks fan, man. I wouldn't know nothing about, outside of Dominique Wilkins and Spud Webb, it ain't a lot to talk about, man. It pisses me off. Because before Bronny's draft, it was some rumblings that he was going to come to Atlanta. Now, I know it's not going to. It made me feel like Atlanta Hawks mattered. I'm telling you right now, Marv, could you imagine if he came to the Hawks, them tickets was going, and guess what? I'm the biggest Hawk fan you ever seen. I ain't never been to no game. I'm not going to a game. Even if we had Luka, I probably would have went. I probably would have went and got Luka. But if LeBron is in the building, that go Ludacris, that go T.I., that go Usher, that go Shaq, that go Charles Barkley, that go the mayor. LeBron would have brought him out. That's not now. He would have also brought out them things. I would have been like, I need to come with my wife, but I can't come here by myself. Good Lord. I can't do that.
Nah, man, let me tell you something,
I got to know my limits. I got to know my limits.
Let me tell you what I learned. I've been married I've been with my girl 26 years, married 19. Stay in the house, boy. Just stay your ass in the house.
Listen,
that's the thing. That's the best advice I can stay in the house.
Bob, I'm going to say this again. And Steven, I know we talked about this before. Everybody wants to talk about New York, and I get it. Everybody want to talk about L.A. and San Diego. I get it. That's exotic out there. You're going to get the mixes up there. Everybody want to talk about Houston.
South Florida.
South Florida, Miami. Ask somebody about this. Hey, man, what happened when you had that layover in Atlanta airport? Oh, my God. I didn't even have to leave the airport. I know. Didn't have to leave the terminal. Just saying.
So we talk about this a lot, about how the media, sports writers, content creators, they grasp at straws to try to find anything to tear LeBron down about this, that, and the third. Let's break down the LeBron James double standard for a second, right? Right. You know, he gets criticized for the same goals that everyone has, right? The right team to compete for a championship. You know, that's a downside. Financial security for a better life, a Hall of Fame resume. That's what we're criticizing him over. That's what every player that comes through whatever sport it is, that's what they want. And the ring chasing one is the most ridiculous argument of all, because in every professional league, that's what you're doing. It's a business. You're trying to become a championship, right? So the double standard, he's ring chasing. He's only there for the money. He's stat padding. Like every legitimate professional goal is what LeBron James has basically accomplished. So, you know, what is an NBA supposed to say when you're going after these goals? Is there a wrong way to go about this? Someone make this make sense, because it doesn't make sense.
Let me tell you what it comes down to. It comes down to the fact that we live in a world where people are struggling, and you get, if you're a celebrity, they tell you how much money this person made in the movie. They, all these contracts are publicized. People's feelings get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because most people, 99% of people don't understand what it is to be great or to be in an elite group. They don't subscribe to that. They don't get that. It doesn't register. You know what I'm saying? So I think jealousy drives that. Additionally, I think people are pissed off that he ain't had no crazy scandal. I think people want to have drama black man's name, and they can't stand the fact that his wife ain't out there acting crazy, that his kids is doing great, that he overachieved, but he exceeded the wildest of expectations after being on Sports Illustrated at 16 or 17 years old.
I think him and Bryce Harper are the two youngest superstars that are currently still in their sports that have been that graced the cover of Sports Illustrated, and neither one of them have real scandals.
And he's a dude from the hood that brought his boys up from the hood. Like, this ain't supposed to be. This ain't supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? It reminds me of the movie American Gangster, when the cop is telling Frank Lucas, the problem is you represent inspiration. You represent hope. You represent change. People don't want to see that. Straight up. Know what they want to see? They want to see John Morant. People celebrate that. They want to see that type of drug. That's real, man. You know what I'm saying? This is, when you hear people crying, this is jealousy. Listen, people talking about the money. Man, I don't get 99% of people who work at MCI would leave MCI to go to Verizon if Verizon was paying more money. Okay? Don't talk to me about loyalty and chasing the bag and loyal. And this is America, okay? It's about that paper, okay? And it's weird when it's supposed to be different for athletes. If you want to stop being sensitive about it, stop publicizing it. Stop making it known what these dudes is really making. You know what I'm saying? And if you mad, we got a dude in Washington, D.C. who made $2.5 billion on the side. We don't want to talk about that. That's another conversation. But look, man, jealousy, Steve, is driving this whole thing, and that's it.
And it's been, we've seen this before, right? When it comes to LeBron, right? We've seen the double standard, right? Mm-hmm. We've seen, at first, they ain't like the way he would bite his fingernails, right? And then they don't like the fact that he married his high school sweetheart. Oh, we know he got to have some woman out there, right? He got to have some babies on the side, right? No, what LeBron represent, right, is excellence. Ooh, and people don't like that stuff. God forbid he talk about, he the first one talk about being the greatest. Have you ever heard Michael Jordan talk? Michael Jordan don't talk. Do Michael Jordan sound like a dude? Did you hear Michael Jordan accept his speech when he was in the Hall of Fame? LeBron James is one of the most famous people in America, and most people have never seen him play. You ever seen LeBron play? No. But I'm tired of hearing about it. Why? Because he's him. And now, and people say, why don't he just go home? For what? So let me get this straight. I see people like Chris Berman on Sports Center. Didn't he leave and come back? Because he him. Because the best don't just shut it down. Do they? They just throw in the towel. Dan Patrick, how long he been in media? Long time, right? Why don't he throw it in? I'm tired of listening to him, right? No, what LeBron James really is, LeBron James, I think you said it, Marv, they want so bad for him to do something so they can say, see, I told you he wasn't this, and I told you he wasn't that, and I said, no. Sir, you don't have a light. If I am sitting around waiting on the downfall of certain people, I don't have a light. LeBron James, they say he's been chasing the bag, he's been chasing the money. Some of us have never been in a position to negotiate. And if life is definitely a negotiation, you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. LeBron, one of the best negotiators out there, boy. He one of the best ones out there. He said, look, I'm taking, LeBron said, the mere fact that I haven't been the highest paid player since I came to the NBA, let y'all know, I've been doing y'all a favor. There's a bunch of players that made more money than me. And that's a travesty. So when it was like, hey, man, if it was about the money, why he take $8 million to go to Philly? Uh-oh, that kills that argument. If it's about the money. No, what it is LeBron is the only person that he can say what he wants, he can do what he wants. He takes every last one of the people he endorsed, every brand, and he flies them all out, put them in the same building so they can collaborate. I want you to hear what I'm doing with them. I want y'all to see what I'm doing with them. Why? Because I ain't got nothing to hide. Remember when Johnny Manziel got picked up, got drafted by the Cleveland Browns? That boy got a McDonald's endorsement. LeBron helped him get that because LeBron was with him. So all I'm saying is, yes, you hate LeBron because you ain't LeBron. As my grandfather would say, dude, they don't hate because it's you. They hate because it ain't them.
Yep.
LeBron could be anybody. LeBron could be anybody. But when John Moran is effing up, they can't wait to say, see. And John Moran is one player out of all players. Because LeBron is going in the year 25 or whatever it is. LeBron got drafted in 2003. LeBron has been around and outlived stuff. There are stuff that is no more. Where your DVDs at? Where your CDs at? Where your MP3s at? Where your flip phones at? Where you know what I'm saying? Where your sidekicks at? But all this stuff is gone. When LeBron first got drafted, he had a flip phone. So now people talk about what LeBron do. You know how much stuff LeBron had to say no to? But I can't do it. Yeah, but LeBron, we're going to give you. I can't do it, man. I can't do it. And once again, waiting on LeBron James' downfall, who's been more healthy than LeBron since he's been in the NBA? I don't know too many people been healthy as long as he has. Who has never cheated a game? LeBron. And you might not, listen, it's not going to happen this way. I believe just to show people that LeBron is who he is, if LeBron sits down with Stephen A. Smith, I don't think it's going to happen. But if that's his final mic drop, that's him looking at Stephen A. saying, so say what you said. You had a lot to say about me, as if to say,
I think that's another. If you think about it, that's another jab at Stephen A. Because Philly's his like second home, ain't it?
and once again, man, it just comes down to the fact LeBron will do the shop, right? And he'll bring all these celebrities in. This is what a lot of people didn't know about the shop. Nick Saban was gonna do the shop. He was gonna call it the same in a barbershop, and he was like, and when they said, "Hey man, how you gonna do the shop?" and LeBron James do the shop, he said, "Oh man, it's more than enough room." I had, did you ever see him do it? Hell no, because he don't want to play like that. Hey bro, you don't want to play with LeBron. What you mean? You might be the GOAT college football coach. That ain't LeBron. What you mean? Dude, you could Nick Saban, dude, you can walk in any mall and any store. Ain't nobody, oh, what's up? You Nick Saban, right? Yeah, that's it. That's all it's gonna be. I saw Nick Saban today. They might ask for a picture. If LeBron walk in the same store that Nick Saban's there, Nick Saban, oh man, that's LeBron. What's up, LeBron? Because who did Nick Saban have come speak to the Alabama Crimson Tide when he was alive? Kobe. Because he knows Kobe walk in the building. It's like, so yeah, I'll never understand it. If you are a LeBron hater, it's either one, he didn't play for your franchise, two, he dethroned your franchise, or three, you just hate success. You hate progress. You hate, and you better hope that whatever industry LeBron want to be in when he's done playing basketball, it ain't yours. Because he's coming for that too, as well he should. And I don't know what it's like to be a billionaire. Most people do not. But you don't become a billionaire not understanding money, not understanding business. This man is a billionaire as an athlete. Michael Jordan became a billionaire after basketball. This man is a billionaire, right? Like 1 point. I'm not counting this man money, but $1 billion? $1 billion? He signed a lifetime contract with Nike, didn't he? That means he get 35, 40 million. Man, he only taking $8 million, bro. Listen, if I said no to this, you know what I said yes to? You know what I really got? I wish that everybody had not. They should call it Be LeBron for a day, just to feel it. Food you ain't never had access to, massages, trainers, water that you can drink without getting a freaking sick. I'm just saying. And for everybody saying that, and I know for everybody saying he better be careful being on that helicopter, that's going to be the most secure helicopter outside of what Donald Trump might have to fly on. It's going to be the most secure helicopter on the planet. You ain't got to worry about it. You ain't got to worry about it. And so, yeah, LeBron, keep doing your thing, sir. I hope to meet LeBron one day. If I sit down with him, I'm going to say, listen, man, my man Marvin on the mic said, hey, listen, man, appreciate what you've been to LA. And Steven told me to tell you everything he said about you before, he ain't mean that. What? Nope.
I meant every word of it. I don't go on my back like that. He mad at me. He mad at me. I keep it real. Like, listen, you know, I feel I still feel at this point in time, if you think about it, you have Jaylen Brown on a team that called LeBron, that he called Joel Embiid a flopper. I think Joe and LeBron James are floppers to the point because that's how the referees call the game. Why would you not take advantage of how the referees sometimes they just got a quick whistle? So yeah, sometimes they do flop. They do put their acting shoes on for a second. I would too if it's gonna give me an extra shot, put an extra 2 points on the board for my team for nothing. I'd be doing it too because there's no recourse for it.
There needs to be.
You get mad at them all you want. That's how they call the game. That's how they should play the game. I'm going to call it from when I see it. Does Joe flop? He's on the floor too much for being that damn big. LeBron James does it too. We've all seen it. There's times he gets hit. He's sitting there holding his face and he looks up. Like you can see that he ain't hurt. Like, so what? That's how the game's played. You take your advantages where you get them. They flop. So what? I'm not going to sit there and come back off of that like kissing his shoes. No. And here's the thing. LeBron's still getting his flowers from everyone regardless. Did you see what the Dr. J said about it already?
What?
So, basically, LeBron is a one-on-one. Kobe's another sort of imitation of Michael. There's been plenty of imitations of Michael and Kobe, and me. We were talking about Julius Erving and other people. LeBron's a one-on-one.
Yeah, he is. That's
so,
real.
You know, Allen Iverson, overly excited about him coming to Philadelphia. Actually, I heard they just offered him a job with the team. Allen. So, smart. I mean, there's a lot of things that are coming to effect.
Whoa. Here's the number that people need to know. What if I told you, what if I said the number 491? What do you think that means? 491. Marv, see what that means?
That's less than half of LeBron's net worth.
No. 491, that's how many assists LeBron need to be number 2 all time. That's how many he need. He gonna pass Jason Kidd and Chris Paul. Listen to me. Look, LeBron is saying now John Stockton got 15,000. That's what I'm saying. But he had Malone.
He ain't catching.
All I'm saying, no, think about this. So you mean to tell me it's gonna be hard to say I wasn't unselfish when I'm second all time in the season? I'm 4th all time right now, behind Jason Kidd and Chris Paul and John Stockton. All I'm saying is, once again, you see how Dr. J just comes, ain't no hate in him. Once again, listen, Marv and Steven, they haven't got their blood tested yet, but I've already been blood tested, man. Came back negative. Ain't no hate in me. I got the results. My wife saw it. She's like, "You negative?" Yeah, baby, ain't no hate in me. Dr. J comes out and says, because they'll make it seem like the OG's got a problem with it. No, they don't. Not if they kept it a buck, because Dr. J says, look, man, I've been around this game a long time. I remember when I was considered the best player in basketball. This dude, it's like a rerun. Like, no. You could do LeBron in the early 2000s, LeBron in the 2010s, LeBron in the 2020s.
Dr. J's immortal in Philadelphia. He's the last guy that brought us to a championship. Moses Malone was the guy that got us over. Is this not a repeat if you think about it? Obviously, LeBron James is a way better basketball player, athlete than Moses Malone was. But you needed that piece to get you over the hump. This is kind of another situation to me. I think I said the process failed at the beginning of last season. The process is now complete.
Yep.
The process is now complete. You have arguably the best starting 5 in the East, if not the entire NBA. The rumors right now, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope is going to sign with the Sixers today, right?
He is?
That's what he's cleared. The rumor is the Sixers made a trade yesterday to free up roster spot for cash considerations. I think that's going to be the move that happens today. And then there's this one, which is why I say the process is complete, because apparently Drew Holiday is getting a buyout, and he also wants to come back to Philadelphia. And Jaylen Brown. So that's what I say. The process is complete now. If this does happen, without a doubt, because Drew Holiday was a part of the original. The original first round picks when the Sixers began this process. So that's process complete in my opinion.
All right, Steve, Steve, you on the inside out there in Philly. What they saying about my boy Bronny? He coming to Philly too?
Listen, I have not heard anything on Bronny. I think.
Well, they got it because they paid them big three. They got a lot of them contracts out there in LA. They're gonna have to do something.
No, and I talked. Remember, I brought this up to Marvin that they needed to lose a couple of those contracts. I wouldn't be surprised to see something, but I think the way it works, if they do sign Pope and or Drew Holiday, that you have a situation that I don't think they're going to be able to make another roster move until December. So I don't know if Bronny's going to be here this year. I wouldn't put it past that in the last ride, so to speak, in the last year of the contract.
Steve, you alluded to this earlier in the show, man. But another thing that moved, LeBron moves the needle, and he generates so much business. I think it's projected that he's going to bring $300 to $400 million into the city.
They said anywhere between $250 to $450 million.
That's unbelievable. You know what I'm saying? Like that, the economic impact of that man again just puts him. It justifies. The king.
You look at the preseason game, it went up $201 from last year.
Who's moving in the NBA? Who else is doing that in the NBA?
For a preseason game. I went to a basketball game last year. It was fairly easy to get. I guarantee I will not be able to make it to a basketball game in this community.
Wemby will definitely move the needle. SGA will definitely move the needle. Maybe Luka. But as far as one man star power, because LeBron living in New York, flying to Philly, he making business moves in New York. Them New York organizations and businesses that have been trying to get at him. Well, I've been in Cleveland. I've been in Miami. I've been in LA. How are we gonna make that trend? Oh, we can do that now. Because once again, LeBron is saying at my height is when I got the most leverage now. When I'm currently Marv, how much leverage does an NFL player have while he's currently in the league than when he's gone? You got to use it while you got it. Tom Brady signed his contract while he was a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. I'm not saying he wasn't going to sign it without me. I'm saying, hey, while I'm still him, let me use LeBron is saying, hey, man, you know how much business I can do in 2 years? Playing for Philly, living in New York?
Something, Ben, to your point earlier, what his haters need to understand is that y'all are fans too. All of y'all are fans. You love him or you love to hate him. You love to talk his name. You love to post about him. You love to watch him just so you can hope he misses a shot. But you're a fan. You are 100% a fan, whether you realize it or not. Okay. And it reminds me a little bit of Floyd, even though LeBron doesn't do the villain thing. People tune in. The haters tune in, not because they don't want to see him. You want to see him, and you jealous of him, but you still want to see him. You're a fan, y'all.
All these Jalen Hurts, Saquon. Somebody's already saying, hey, man, how do I get a commercial with Brown? What you mean?
Well, no, there's this. I think it's about time that Philly recreates this picture. They did it in the 80s. It was when right before Pelly Lindbergh passed away. And it had all four of the superstars from all four of the major sports teams, right? They had Julius Erving, Mike Schmidt, yeah. And I think if you look at it,
who for the Eagles?
Who was on that Eagles picture? Man, why am I forgetting?
I don't understand who.
I think it was Jaworski was in the picture. I think it was Jaworski because
really
it was before the Cunningham area.
Does he have a chip?
He's got a bowl, not a chip. He's got a bowl.
All right.
He had a bowl appearance. Listen, you got to give us a break. We were in some rough times.
No, I'm not giving y'all a break. The standard is the standard. If he ain't got a chip,
why is he on? Okay. This is the standard. Okay. Here's the thing, I'm with you there, because I felt the Eagles organization never invested a cent into Randall Cunningham. They never gave him an offensive line. They never gave him a good running back. If it wasn't for Fred Barnett becoming the deep threat that he had, he wouldn't even had a good option there for the most of his time there. You
could justify putting Reggie White there. No one would argue that.
Yeah. But I just think I think it was before Reggie was there. I think it was done in 83, 84 when they did the picture.
Yeah, y'all ain't got nobody that would have been, Mike Schmidt is an all-time player.
But now, I mean, if you do it now, I mean, it's easy. It would be Harper, LeBron. You're going to do Jalen Hurts. I don't care what anyone says. And then, with the Flyers,
in 2 years.
Listen, here's the thing. I don't know if Philadelphia can be able to handle what could potentially happen going into next season. You could potentially be either a Super Bowl winner, contender, etc., and wind up having another parade, and then immediately following within 2 months have another one with LeBron James and the Sixers. That could be a crazy time. I don't know if we can handle that. I don't know. But if you think about it, LeBron James has to be the biggest free agent signing in history. In history, right? We've had some good free agent signings over the past 20 years, right? Saquon, Bryce. We took Zach Wheeler from the Mets. Cliff Lee, Jim Thome, Pete Rose, Ricky Waters was my first real memory of a free agent signing. Then Troy Vincent came not too long after that. But LeBron James has to be the biggest free agent signing in Philadelphia sports history. And that's even from me being a guy that's not the biggest LeBron guy. There, you can't doubt what we've already talked about, the economic impact, the love-hate that people have for him. He's the biggest free agent signing in Philadelphia sports history. And the reason why I'm gonna go into that point is because I gotta go after the sports media. I gotta go after the sports media because fucking Spike Geskin, and excuse my language because I'm just beyond irritated with this, Nepo baby idiot. Basically, the day after saying this is one of the worst days I've ever had as a Philadelphia Sixers fan. And one of these guys had quoted it, and he was like, if you're going to get likes off me, at least follow up with a link to the pod of the stream for the show. And that's just proofing what we'd already talked about on here before, where that some of these guys that are on, your major media stations, they're doing their things so you're clicking on their episodes.
Yeah. That's a stupid, but that's just an ignorant thing to say. I mean, it's just that either he's being strategic.
If you have Charlie Manuel getting so mad at you that he chokes you out, you're a POS. You're a POS. Charlie Manuel's probably one of the nicest, most down to earth baseball managers I've ever seen come through here in Philadelphia. And then look, I get Spike has been around in the world. He's did media in New York and stuff like that. When you say stuff like that, it makes me believe you're really not an actual Sixers fan. You're doing this for clicks and likes. And we see that a lot in the way sports media is consumed. Now, while we were on air last week, we seen Ryan Clark get fired as well. After we came off, it was heard that Cam Newton was also gone. A couple other guys were gone, but then Ryan Clark went on and did a little interview about it, said what he had to say, and you got Shady McCoy clapping back at him, basically saying a lot of dudes do stuff for attention, a lot of them do it for this and that, and he truly thinks Ryan's one of these guys that is I'll say rage baiter. He says things to get a response out of people sometimes.
Well, again, don't forget, y'all, for as much as they're reporting on sports, this is entertainment television. You know what I'm saying? People really forget that he ain't Walter Cronkite. This ain't Connie Chung. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, this is sports entertainment. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So yeah, you kicking facts, you giving your opinions, but the game is you want to get that bag, you need clicks. You want clicks, you got to say things that and do things that get people interested. You got to be able to really impact and touch humans in a way that they want to see you and see you more. So I think and Shady himself is participating in it by calling him out. You know what I'm saying? It's all a game.
I think Sante Samuel was the first person to kind of really come out, Ryan, after that episode came out. Some of the things
sit down. He's also the same one who said he's better than Deion Sanders. So I don't really listen. He was better than me. But here's the thing.
I think the reason Ryan lost sight of why he was hired, in my opinion. Do I think some of the things he said, which upset him and he feels like he was fired, are true? Yes, I do believe that there is some validity to that. But I don't think it was the overall reason. I think Ryan lost sight of why you were hired in the first place. What we don't want to hear, what politically irritates you. We want to hear your insights because you have an insight that none of us will ever be able to attain. You were in the huddle. You were on the practice field. You know a lot of these coaches, players on a personal level. We want to get a just a looking glass inside to that part of it. And I think along the line, Ryan lost sight of that. I'm not saying he's not Ryan. I know you want to get something in, Marv. Go ahead.
Yeah, listen, this is how I look at it, man. When you say, Steve, that he was saying things that it didn't appeal to a lot of people, it appealed to many people, but it didn't appeal to certain people. You know what I'm saying? And I think, we live in a day and age in politics where, we're trying to change what history was and reshape it and say it differently. And for a lot of people, it resonates with them. They get that. But, if you're not a person of color, if you're not a person who has seen their ethnic group struggle, then you don't want to hear that. You don't want to be reminded of that. You don't want to be told that. You don't want somebody to go up there being, Minister Farrakhan. You don't want to hear that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? So it really it's a very subjective thing. And I understand your point. They hired him with the intent for him to talk about sports. But, he also, the last 10 years, he's lived through Troupe. All of us have lived through crazy times in America, and he's using that platform to speak on it. And it does resonate with certain people, but the executives at Disney, much of the fan base who don't come from those ethnic backgrounds, they don't want to hear that. So I get it, you know what I'm saying? But and I will say this, I got nothing but respect for Ryan as a player. I think he does a phenomenal job talking sports. He has a career that I'm looking at like, man, that's how you do it, But when he was up there crying, I was like, come on, dog. Come on, man. Come on, dog. Come on, bro. You ain't got to do that. Crying over what? You've been up to people for 11 years. They gave you the bag. You played 12 years. What you crying about? You about to move on and move up. You're going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get that, but it's all good though. Like I said, we said
on here last week, he's gonna land somewhere. He's gonna land somewhere.
Man, Steve, you can send him an email when he comes here. He can land here.
He can come here all day long.
I will say this: Ryan Clark. Let me start with Shady. Shady is on there with Emmanuel Acho. Emmanuel Acho knows how to chase. You talk about sensationalized. Emmanuel Acho is great for that stuff. I am not mad for Shady saying what he's saying, but when Shady says, I don't know if he's genuine or whatever, dude, we ain't psychiatrists. You know what I'm saying? We ain't therapists. I don't know who it, we don't know who is what. But that's how much Ryan Clark meant to sports. And we ain't talking about nobody else firing like that. But Bart Scott got let go. Charles Davis got let go, right? It was some, it's some good guys that got let go.
Cam got let go too.
Cam got let go. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. No, people talk about Ryan Clark because you watching him on More Than Sports Number. You watching the pivot, you see him over there too. And they balling over there too. But what happens is he's the only one got fired while he was at work. Cam didn't get fired when he was at work. He ain't doing a live segment and then he don't come back. You might not like how it all went down. And Asante Samuel, here's the thing, right? Asante Samuel is a content creator, right? Ain't he? Yeah. Yes, okay. So Shady McCoy is a content creator, ain't he?
Yep.
Okay. Last time I checked, Ryan was both at one point. So was Shady. Shady got let go. They went straight to Speakeasy, and I respect it. Shady got some crazy takes now. Shady is saying a bunch of crazy stuff too.
You got some bad ones
but
too.
But what I'm saying is this. Marv, you know this. Steve, you know this. If you talk for a living, how many times are you gonna say something it wasn't up to par? Right? Like, and I'm not getting political either, right? But I was on ESPN radio when what happened to Ahmaud Arbery. I was living in Brunswick, Georgia. It happened in the same city I was living in and didn't even know it. Do I think if I wasn't on that network, they would have talked about it? No, but I am on the network. There are things when you look, if and I'm not getting into it. If I'm working with a gentleman who is Jewish and somebody's being anti-Semitic, and I said we don't want to talk about that. Am I being dismissive to this man? Yeah. So I ain't gonna always say things that you understand, but culture is the hardest thing to understand. To those that's within the culture, it's natural. To those that are not, it sounds like race baiting. But here's the thing. I have been playing spades and tonk and all these different things a long time. I ain't never seen the race card in my life. Black people did not invent this word, right? If you don't understand something, and just because you say, hey, I think he's or if I'm a little person, I can talk about tall people all day. Ain't nobody gonna say a word, right? If I was a super duper big dude, I could talk about skinny people all day. Go ahead and flip it. You think skinny people can talk about fat people? No. You think tall people can talk about short people? No. And they only speaking the truth, right? We live in a world where now truth is labeled something. Oh man, he's doing it. And I'm not saying he's doing that, but what if he's not doing that? Like, I just think when it comes to Ryan Clark, Ryan getting fired is going to do more for him than ESPN ever did. Because you know how many people know who Ryan Clark is now? Like, who is this Ryan Clark dude? Right? Because he was the only one they made a skeptical out of. Because if Outkick is a rival to SportsCenter, ESPN, and they leaked, how the hell I'm telling you about to fire him, and they're going to write a story on it. It's just, hey, Ryan, listen, Ryan, he gonna get paid the rest of. If the goal in life is to get a career, then they got to pay you to leave. That is when you are winning. Even when you leave, they owe you your money. I got the cry fake tears. I ain't finna. But hey, man, I don't understand. Do I understand what Ryan said? I just want him to accept me. Because I don't know Ryan. I don't know what he fully mean by that. But if you've never gotten fired before, you ain't been working that long. I got let go in the NFL. My last year in the NFL, I got let go. I played for the Bucs for the first 2 games. I got let go because Jeremy Stevens, the husband of Hope Solo, the former U.S. women's national team goalie, I got let go because of him. I ended up in the Raiders. I ended up out there with the Raiders. I was on injured reserve, and I'm feeling down on myself like, oh, this is the first time I ever got cut. And one of my teammates said, no, boy, you was on the Tampa Bay Bucs opening day roster, which means you get the double dip. What do you mean? They owe you your full contract with Tampa, meaning if Tampa would have went to the Super Bowl, I would have got a ring and playoff check. I didn't know this. So I was like, what? Yeah, man, they got to pay you. Man, I enjoyed myself out there in Oakland. I ain't never even get out there on the field. I love when I was out there in California. I'm out there in San Francisco and San Mateo and Palo Alto and San Jose, Santana Row. They're like, man, how the team look? I don't know. I'm hurt. They look all right. So I'm just saying, it's Ryan's gonna be all right, but Shady, you might want to make sure that Ryan does as good as he can do. Because I'm gonna keep on telling you this: we need content creators. Keep doing this, because the more they do it, the more we do. Because the conversation is easier to have these conversations of. I mean, I don't know if Pat McAfee is the sibling. If he is, that's a hell of a sibling. That's doing it. But I'm saying Ryan Clark has a platform to talk about what happened to him. And guess what we did? Clicked on it. Let's see what he's got to say. This thing did like 1 million views. So we are our own worst enemy. And Shady, the only reason why you know what Ryan said, because you sat right there with your popcorn and watched it. Like this. Oh, he crying. So even you a fan. Like you say, Mom, that's the LeBron James effect. You hate me so much. Your haters got to watch you. That's why Eminem is who he is now. Them crazy lyrics. Somebody said, you heard what he said about his mama and his brother? Yeah. But I thought you didn't like him. But I got to know what he does. So, yeah, man. Ryan to be all right. Ryan's somewhere right now training his son or whatever he's doing, getting ready for a pivot episode. And Shady is using Ryan to get clicks. But Ryan is disingenuous. Shady. Come on. You know what I'm saying? We all, I'm not going to come at my brother in the content creation world because we are all one and the same. But Shady, I don't think you should like what I said. I think you should come on, the fan in the end and talk about it. Come through. Come through.
He's got an open invitation.
Let's move on
to some other football talk because the defensive tackle world got flipped upside down yesterday as the bread man, Mr. Jalen Carter, signed a 4-year, $125 million extension with, 106 guaranteed. Now makes him the highest paid defensive tackle in history. And Jalen Carter will now be under contract with the Philadelphia Eagles until the 2031 season. And we thought, we thought that the last two defensive tackle contracts were something special. We knew this was going to happen at some point in time over the next few years. And apparently making this deal just made all those void years for A.J. Brown basically cancel themselves out almost. It's crazy. But I want to talk about that, but also the other side of this is, I don't know if you guys seen it, is Villaveta has requested a trade down there in Tampa because they can't get his contract situated. So, one, the Jalen Carter effect, signing that contract. How does that affect Veta too? If he's trying to be traded and he also wants a new contract, how does that play out? Because Veta's what? He's 31, I think. He's 31.
He's. I don't think that Vita Vea is going to get Jalen Carter type money, but it helps. I mean, because you got to have a starting point. I think Jalen Carter is definitely the exception right now. When you talk about because he's still under his rookie deal. He was still under his rookie deal. He's still 23, 24 years old.
Your option next year.
Yeah. So now here's the thing, right? Sometimes perception is not reality now. I know that Vita Vea is seeing, what Vita Vea is really trying to do. He's trying to get to LA. He's trying to get to the Rams. He want to play with Myles Garrett. He ain't fooling me. He's trying to get out there, which I get it. But here's the thing about going to California teams, man. That 150-something million ain't the same in California now. It ain't the same. It's more like 50 million, whatever it is. The California tax is serious. But Vita Vea is looking at the Bucs saying, Levante David, gone. Mike Evans, gone. The guys that I was really rocking with, I see this team changing. And he going to land somewhere. It's just, I think Jalen Carter is more like perception. If you a D tackle, you got to be. Now, obviously, Simmons for the Titans, he got his contract. And then Jalen Carter, Simmons signed for 3 years.
His contract when they traded him too?
Yeah, I think they might have gave Dexter. But see, and here's the thing. When I think of Simmons, when I think of Dexter Lawrence, when I think of Jalen Carter, Vita Vea, he's not in that class. He's a good player. He's
not a top 5 defensive tackle. He's not a top 5.
No. But what I'm saying is,
he's a big body who can make a difference.
Absolutely, I agree.
And like I say too, and here's the difference in money in the NFL now, and maybe this just showing my age, but man, good money is how you look at it, right? You know what I'm saying? If Jalen signed a 4, Simmons signed a 3, hey man, go get you a 2-year, you know what I'm saying? 75 mil, 60 guaranteed. That's a lot of bread. And it gives you 2 years from now, because what these tight ends are doing, if you notice, they signed a 3-year deal. They getting the 3-year deals and they still in their late 20s re up again. So Jalen signed the 4 to get more money. That's more like they're gonna throw a lot of that money on the put a lot of it on the front end. But hey man, Vita Vea could definitely help a lot of teams now. I mean, he could definitely help a lot of teams. It's gonna be that number though. It's gonna be the number that he wants because they paying you on projection, not what you were, what you are, and what you gonna be. Well, Jalen Carter's still really young. Vita Vea, I mean, he went there when they weren't good, and he went there when they got good, right? That's a lot of wear and tear on you, sir. Somebody gonna pick him up. I just don't know what that number gonna be. I think more of a 2-year deal because it's all about the guaranteed money anyway. I remember when Donovan McNabb signed a $100 million contract when he was with Philly, and some of the language in the contract guided to $100 million. It wasn't like now he has some like he got to play 10% on special teams. He's a quarterback, not playing on special teams, but. Hey man, Vita Vea, he didn't shake up the D tackle market like he thought he would. When he said he want to trade, his phone ain't ringing like he thought it would be. Somebody want him, but the number that he think he was going to get.
You're saying the Rams. I say if he's smart, if he go into LA, it's probably the Chargers because they're the one that will be able to pay him.
I mean, look,
I think.
Go ahead, Marvin.
Yeah, I think with Philly. You're seeing a couple of things here. You're seeing Harry Roseman cook. You're seeing how they've been able to stay relevant and stay on top of their game for some years now, drafting their players, developing their players, and then paying their players versus going out there and spending a whole bag on guys, free agents that are hit and miss. They got Saquon. They brought Saquon in, right? Championship. You know what I mean? But
he gets re-upped. He got re-upped right after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so, and I think
if you're a player, if you're an agent, you're begging Philadelphia, like, please pick my guy because 100%. They make it easy.
Yeah, it's an old school approach, man, which is good. They're building, and then from there, you look how they're making the investment into the interior. You know what I'm saying? Football is a game that's played and won and lost at the line of scrimmage, y'all. Okay, at the end of the day, if you don't have a good five offensive linemen, and you don't have a good front 4, typically those teams don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? If you can't run the ball and you can't stop the run, typically those teams don't really go too far. So, you're solidifying the foundation of what you're going to need to be great. And, other GMs need to pay attention to that, and it's inspiring for the other Philadelphia Eagles who were drafted and they see, hey, if I come here and I ball, I'm going to get paid. He's going to give you that bag. How are you going to get that bag? So, in regards to Vita Vea, again, he's such a big dude, he could play. You know what I'm saying? He could play, take up space, take on those double teams, free up opportunities for the backers to flow. So, he's someone that definitely has value as well.
Yeah, I listen, happy for Carter. I'm glad we got it done. Glad we have both him and Jordan Davis under contract through Jalen for 31, Jordan to 2029. It's you set yourself up for success that way. As long as these guys are healthy and they continue to play each year, play a little bit better. I listen, we talked about it a few years ago, right after the Super Bowl, is the guys that were around, the veterans that were around this team was like, listen, Jalen Carter's the best defensive tackle in football, and he still doesn't know how to play the position yet. I'm like, wait, what? Like that's a crazy thing to sit there and say about it. Now we just see him now become the highest paid defensive tackle in the NFL right now. I still don't think he's the best defensive tackle as far as play on the field, but I think his potential over that 4 or 5 year span is that he can be the best defensive tackle in football at some point in time over that period of time. And if he's in shape this year, if he doesn't have the shoulder injuries, because he had multiple shoulder injuries last season that he played through, and I don't know if a lot of people really know that. So if he's healthy, I think everything's good. Vita Vea, I think he's in a situation where I think Ben's right. He should probably only look for a 2-year deal, $70-80 million, something like that. You incentive laced it in some type of way to maybe get a better number for him. But Tampa still has to pay Baker Mayfield. And we already see what the quarterbacks are raking in these days. They in that $50-60 million a year range, and that's no joke. That's no joke.
Yeah, so, but listen, at the end of the day, they could be making a huge mistake.
I think
if Tampa goes out there,
they won't have anybody to replace him. Period.
Exactly. I mean, that's just And listen, I'm not saying that Baker is in the elite class of quarterbacks. Baker Mayfield can play. He can ball. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't think you have to give him $50-60 million a year. I don't know if that's really the number that he's looking at.
You give him Justin Herbert money. I think you give him Trevor Lawrence money. The thing about Baker Mayfield that I want to understand is, and Marvin, maybe you hitting on is, everybody can't be a top 5 QB, right? Like, you're going to have Lamar, and you're going to have, Matthew Stafford, and, you know what I'm saying? You talk about, like Patrick Mahomes, and certain guys going to be in that category. Baker Mayfield found a home in Tampa. Been really, really good since he's been there. If Tampa Bay Buccaneers are stupid enough to let Baker Mayfield hit the free, he's going to be gone. Somebody's snatching him ASAP because some of these quarterbacks. I
guarantee the Arizona Cardinals would love to have Baker Mayfield on their team right now.
And here's the thing, too. I know everybody is all in for the 2027 quarterback sweepstakes with all these quarterbacks coming out headlined by one arch man. We need to look at the stats of how these first round quarterbacks don't pan out. Not because they're not good. A lot of a quarterback panning out has to do where he goes. So what if Aaron Rodgers gets drafted by the Cleveland Browns? it matters where you go.
Yeah, it does.
And how you develop. So if Tampa, I know the Tide Bowls might not be their cup of tea right now, but if Baker Mayfield, he's the only one keeping that thing together when you look at how many people that left right now. So Mike Evans gone, Levante David gone, Vita Vea wants to be out of there. The culture is shifting. Yes, it was a 3-way tie for awful in the NFC South and now Carolina won it. It's like you don't want to get rid of a guy like Baker Mayfield only because forget what he did. Baker Mayfield took Cleveland to a freaking playoff game and they got rid of him the next year, which is nuts. So yeah, they better find a way to do something with Baker Mayfield. And once again, it's a lot of guys that I can say it's so many guys I can say is better than Baker Mayfield. That list is not long. There aren't a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL better than Baker because I look at the position you play and what you mean to the team you own and the division that you in. Well,
Baker's a top 15, possibly a top 10 quarterback in the NFL.
He's a Baker Mayfield in the NFC South. Baker Mayfield is probably your top quarterback. He'll probably be Baker Mayfield. Yeah, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young. You talk about Tua, Tyler Shuck for the Saints. Yeah, man. I don't know what they're doing. Maybe the way Baker might not have the personality because sometimes the quarterbacks ain't got the personality for everybody. Do I win though? It's like if you don't pay me to be liked, man. You pay me to be consistent. You pay me to be a professional. You pay me to do my job. I got a wife and kids, man. I'm not here to be I'm here to be friendly. I'm not gonna be friends with everybody. But if you let him go, that shows Tampa is going this way. If they let him go, they're gonna definitely go down. And for my Falcons, we would love that. It ain't gonna help. Still ain't gonna beat them. Anyway.
Hey, look, to both of your points, they recently put out this top 10 list of quarterbacks. A lot of different publications have their, have interviewed the GMs and head coaches anonymously, and they have these top 10 quarterbacks now. Jalen Hurts isn't on anybody's list in the top 10.
I love it. I love it.
He's been to 2 Super Bowls. So to your point that you were making earlier, Ben, you don't have to be a top 5 dude to be a dude. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what Baker is. Baker's a dude. You know what I'm saying? You are out of your mind because if Tampa goes to the playoffs this year, which they probably will, in that division, then this dude's gonna hit the market, and somebody gonna give him that bag for real. Tampa needs to go ahead and lock that dude up, man.
But you just said something. Baker Mayfield and Jalen Hurts might be the reason why I don't listen to lists. I don't want to hear about no list because list makes it seem like any list that got Justin Herbert ahead of Jalen Hurts, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see a list. Any list that got Trevor Lawrence above Baker Mayfield, I don't want to see it, because some of these lists are half what you done and half what you could do, right?
I'm gonna just say it like this. If that's the case, the Eagles just showed you can win a Super Bowl without having a quarterback ranked in the top 10, and then all your favorite quarterbacks you can't even win with. If that's the case, let him not be in the top 10 for the rest of his career. I want him to have that chip on his shoulder.
Think about this. If I did a top 10 offensive tackle list in the NFL, right? They might not put Marvin Powell on it, but if I ask any old lineman, now they're gonna say he's on it. So which list matter? Does it matter what the people watching say, or does it matter what the people that play the position? That's why I like the top 100, because the players are saying, hey, bro, this dude can play, right? And the thing about Jalen Hurts, I'm going to keep saying that Jalen Hurts, he said, look, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but Jalen Hurts got that LeBron in him like that. Hey, man, listen, I'm not LeBron James, right? I ain't saying, but he's saying, look, I'm married, right? Yeah. I'm not really in the limelight. Yeah, I don't do a bunch of stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm a football player and I go home. I say, but let's look at winning percentages. Let's look at Super Bowl appearances. How many Lamar got? How many Josh Allen got? How many Justin Herbert got? How many Baker Mayfield got? And all I'm saying is, yes, Marv, he got that supporting cast, but we have seen, think about this, when you talk about supporting cast, what if I gave you Christian McCaffrey, Trent Williams, Brian Ayuk, Brother Ayuk, when he was there, Ricky Pearsall, George Kittle, Fred Warner, Dre Kinlaw, and guess what? Tre'Davious Ward, they didn't win it. We talking about all pros everywhere, and they didn't win it because Brock Purdy. Now, I know he was Mr. Irrelevant, and what happens is when Jalen Hurts is on the biggest stage with the best players, he's the best player out. Every time he saw Patrick Mahomes, boy, he outplayed. Both times, because they don't get him in the regular season. And what I'm saying to Jalen is saying, look, I'm not saying I'm going to be your cup of tea. My agent is a black lady, Nicole Lynn, right? I took black women and say, hey, man, I'm going to rock with y'all because I'm already a little different. I was 26-2 in college, and they told me they wanted this dude named Tua. Cool. You want Tua? Cool. I won the SEC championship when Tua couldn't get it done. I was the Heisman Trophy runner-up when I went to Oklahoma. You don't think I'm that good? Ask CeeDee Lamb how good I am. Because CeeDee Lamb, you know who was throwing to him when he got drafted? That would be Jalen. Out there, getting it done in that Lincoln Riley offense. So Lincoln Riley does two things. He gets number one overall picks, a Heisman Trophy winners like Caleb Williams. You talk about Kyler Murray. You talk about Baker Mayfield. Well, Jalen was a Heisman Trophy runner-up. He didn't win it, but he was a runner-up. So all I'm saying is, Marv, when I see Jalen Hurts, I see a Marvin Powell more than I see anybody else, because you ain't gonna be everybody's cup of tea. That don't mean, man. You know what I'm saying? My tea is just as good as anybody. Because when I think about your father sounds like a dude. Hey, man, I'm not a yes person. I'm not gonna be everybody's cup of tea. But when you turn the tape on, I'm beating the brakes off of. And so that's what Jalen did. Jalen say, hey, y'all can say a lot of things about me, right? Yeah. Who they got rid of first? Me or AJ? They got rid of AJ. Why? Because they picked. I've seen that before, though. I've seen exactly why
AJ. I think if you looked at this week, what was going on, AJ already got into it with Vrabel, and then he was like, "Oh, well, that comes from a good place. I understand that." But why is it when Nick Sirianni got in his face when he was sitting there not doing the basic fundamentals, them two were sitting there barking? It's a respect thing. 100%. I don't think the issue the whole time had nothing to do with Jalen Hurts. I think the issue with AJ Brown came down to he didn't respect Nick Sirianni.
He did. Vrabel and Sirianni are two different animals.
Absolutely.
Vrabel, old school, former player, linebacker, played for one of the most cold-hearted dudes in the world in Belichick. I mean, listen, I've never met Mike, but I've seen his interviews and I understand that mentality. Trust me, when Mike Vrabel's in a room with you, the energy is different than him versus Nick Sirianni being in a room with you. You know what I'm saying? Like there's an automatic, amount of respect you giving Vrabel, 1,000%. You know what I'm saying? Just because of the caliber of man he is as a former player and how that comes off to a current player. You know what I mean? You got a lot of dudes who kind of feel like, bro, you didn't even play this game at this level. What you talking about? You know what I mean? Now, I don't think that's the right mentality, but I get it. I completely get it. Because I thought that way too about some of these coaches.
Well, Nick doesn't get the love either because he's freaking. I think he's like 65-30 in 5 years of being here in Philadelphia, and he's on nobody's top coaches list. You go look at here's another one of those things, right? You look at the top coaches list, right? And Sean McVay, Andy Reid, Kyle Shanahan, Mike McDonald, Dane Campbell, Matt LaFleur, D'Amico Ryan, Sean Payton, Mike Vrabel, and Jim Harbaugh is what you see. Where's Nick Sirianni? Because he's got over the last 5 years, he's got more wins than all of them guys.
What they're basically saying, hey, you remember when Barry Switzer came to Dallas, won that Super Bowl, and a lot of people was like, that wasn't because of Barry Switzer. This is something else. You know what I mean? Like real talk. They just don't look at him as the needle mover. They're not saying, this isn't a dude, and that's hard, man. I think you got to give him some credit, no doubt about it, because he could have walked in there with all that talent and messed it up. He could have messed it up with ego and pride, and he could have messed it up. So
he has messed it up in some aspects because he's been through 4 different coordinators in 5 years too.
Yeah, but that's a part of it, right?
Him or the quarterback. Him or the quarterback.
And even with the AJ Brown thing, AJ Brown respects Mike Vrabel as a man and as a head coach.
Yep.
I think AJ Brown respected Sirianni as the head coach. Think about this. Listen, we've had jobs, right, that we respected your position. That don't mean I respect you. I can respect your position, especially if you can, make me lose my job. But here's the thing. Vrabel had AJ Brown. Vrabel drafted AJ Brown. Like and now he's older. And now he understands Vrabel. Because Vrabel does I don't treat nobody like they bigger than the team. I'm gonna come at you. Because that's the Bill Belichick way of doing things, right? That works until it doesn't work. That's good until it's not good. And mind you, whichever coach had the biggest influence on you, that's what you're gonna use. But Mike Vrabel need to know this. He better win this year. Because if he doesn't, they're going to make it about everything other than football. They're going to talk about all this other stuff. And I think that with Sirianni just goes with Andy Reid was not beloved in Philly like he is in Kansas City. When Andy Reid was a coach in Philly, they treated him like they treat Sirianni. You would think Andy Reid didn't do nothing. So Sirianni just didn't get, hey, man, listen, when you in Philly, you got to make miracles happen. And even if you do, you ain't that good. You still ain't that good. The only Philadelphia Eagle that I thought got all the respect from the time he was there, the time he left, was B-Dog. No one ever had things to say about him. B-Dog was like
Reggie.
What I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that, once again, when it comes to these lists, right, I used to be a big proponent of the lists. And then you start checking some of these lists. Like, once again, I got a teammate of mine that I played with in college, played offensive tackle. And Marv, I told him that, I said, yeah, man, I'm on the show, man. Dude named Marvin Powell. He said, what you mean Marvin Powell? I said, Marvin Powell, he's like I said, Marvin Powell the third, though, his son. Oh, I said, his dad? He said, what? He looked at me like this. He said, do you know his dad? Yeah, man, Marvin Powell. He said, yeah, man, Marvin Powell went to SC, man. Yeah, man, that dude. And it's almost like it's instant respect. It ain't no, and if I said, if I would say, you think he's there to make a top 10 list, he was, I don't care about no list, bro. He him. What does a list matter to a dude that did? Like a dude that did it? So when Warren Sapp talking to D tackles, I got the whole room. Because you see what I'm saying? And when people say you did it, it doesn't mean you got to be an all-pro bowler. Let me put that. But if you've ever done it, you know what it looks like. Until you eat a steak prepared the right way, man, you just eat meat, man. They gotta prepare it right. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that that's not a good cut of meat. I'm saying when it's cooked right, All you need is a knife. And that thing, it's going to do what it's supposed to do. And that's what I'm saying when it comes to a Sirianni. A Sirianni knows what it looks like because he's done it. A lot of the Harbaugh, I get it. That's the respect thing. Okay, right? Harbaugh didn't win a Super Bowl when he played his brother because he's trying to make Colin Kaepernick be a pocket passer. If they would have did an RPO, San Francisco beats they beat the Ravens. So when it comes to these players and lists, Mike McDaniel was not respected by nobody in Miami. Nobody. They didn't respect that dude. They respected his position. But it's like this. This is how I look at coaching. Marv, you tell me. If you can't cuss at me in the street, what you cussing me in for? Because I'm your player. What you cussing at me like that for? I ain't never been a dude that said, look, coach me hard. Coach me hard. But you let in the environment that you think you can say anything you want to say to me. You wouldn't do it out there in the street. Why are you talking? You could just talk to me. Hey, Ben, we need to do better than all that MF for this. I said, oh. And certain coaches, that's how they coach. And I get it, but you want to get the best out of me, just talk to me. Hey, true, man, we need to do a little better than that. Only because at a certain point, I'm going to block you out. And then I'm being insubordinate and not a good teammate and not a good professional. But I had Steve McNair tell me in front of my coach, he said, Troupe, you know how hard it is to coach you? It's not hard. You are the best player. You represent the best players in the world. Yeah. He get to coach you. He didn't say he's the best coach in the world. He gets to coach you. And a lot of times because he knew somebody that's comfortable coaching, working with him. Marv, you was one of the best players in the world, sir, whether it's for 1 down or 10 down. Because what's harder to do, become a coach in the NFL or a player? A player. Because with the coaching, you see is every time, listen, if John Gruden, I guarantee you this, look at when John Gruden was the head coach with the Raiders and the head coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I guarantee you his special teams coach name was Rich Bisaccia. I guarantee it. Look at it when he was with the Raiders. Hold on. I'm going to type in, watch this. Listen. I'm with John Gruden coaching staff because it's a good old boy league. John Gruden, special teams coach. Watch. Special teams coach with Raiders and Bucks. I guarantee you the same dude. Hold on, if y'all can see this. Can y'all see this? What does that say right there?
Let's see if I can.
I see it in the bottom.
Rich Bisaccia. So the same guy gets the coach because John Gruden. Hey, man, if I'm with those, it's like this, Marvin. I say that if somebody said, hey, Troupe, somebody come to me and say, man, I see what y'all doing on the fan in the end. Hey, man, I want to come, I want to sign you. I'm saying, man, you got to sign my boys too. What you mean? Package deal. What you mean? Cuz, bro, do I look like I got sucker? I ain't no sucker, man. I'm not finna. Hey, yo, Marv. Hey, man, how much you think Marv gonna want? Hey, call him. He can tell you. Why? Cuz, man, sometimes you got to pay for what somebody else did. I don't nickel and dime. Now, I say, Steve, listen, the tax is gonna be a little different in PA than in Georgia. But call Marv, because if I say that Marv only want this, Marv gonna say, well, how much was y'all offering? And I said, and you're gonna say, when we was offering Ben a meal, he said, give you $250. I said, no, the hell I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Because I ain't got, once again, my blood got checked. Ain't no hate over here. I'm just saying, everybody ain't like me, you, Mom, and Steven. I'm just saying, F-list, because they ain't real. It's somebody that, because I'm going to keep saying this, when your father gets inducted, Mom, I want your first words to be, what took you so long, baby? What took so long? What the hell going on? You know what I'm saying? Because
no doubt.
You can say your daddy is that dude because he's your daddy, but your daddy is that dude because he that dude. That's if I like it or not. That's if I went to UCLA, which I did not. You know what I'm saying? It's certain things just is. And guess what? Jalen Hurts is that dude, whether you like it or not. Effortless. Baker Mayfield is that dude, whether you like it, not because of what they've done. It's only 32 starters in the NFL, right? They 2 of them, right? Okay. 32 of them things. I'm just saying.
So when you look at, again, this A.J. Brown, Nick Sirianni, Mike Vrabel thing, what I think about is this. In 99, I was with the New Orleans Saints. Mike Ditka was our head coach. Okay, Ditka was, and Ben, I know you've seen this. Again, for y'all who don't know, Ditka is a Hall of Fame player. Okay, arguably the greatest rookie tight end in the history of the game. Okay, had a phenomenal career as a tight end. You know, when they wasn't really throwing the ball, he was getting that rock. With that said, Ditka was the type of coach that if there was a problem, y'all could fight. We had a situation in practice my rookie year with a player who I ain't gonna name, where it was about to go down and it didn't, but no one got suspended, no one got fined. It didn't, you know what I'm saying? This is, 30 years ago. It didn't leak to the media, you know what I'm saying? It's been since reported, but Sirianni ain't coming at AJ Brown talking about let's fight. You know what I'm saying? Vrabel will come at AJ Brown like you got a problem, close the door, we can do what grown men do. You know what I mean? So when you talk about respecting this dude versus that dude, and I seen that again when I was in college with a coach who was a former player, played in the league, position coach, told the group, we got a problem, we can put him up. We can get down. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, real talk. This is real. You know what I mean? Sirianni ain't doing that. You know what I mean? Like, AJ Brown didn't fear, didn't respect, didn't look at Sirianni like that. And that's why they had problems, man. He just didn't have that presence, and I hate that.
Seriously, AJ about to see, though, sometimes, man, it ain't what you thought it was. Like, I
already seen everyone tearing him apart, be like, he's only caught 3 passes in 3 practices. I'm like, oh, would you guys stop it? It's we're not even in preseason. We're just in training camp. We're talking about
that's because he's going up against Christian Gonzalez
camp again. Come on, man.
He's going up against Christian Gonzalez. Christian Gonzalez, he'll be like, hey, let's. I know we teammates, but I'm going to show you why I'm about to be that $31 million a year guy at cornerback. And you know who loving that? Quinyon Mitchell. Like, give him all you gonna give it to him. Because Quinyon, you know what I'm saying? Them boys coming through saying, hey, man, it's all good. Congratulations.
He's a top 50 player in the NFL, right? As voted by his peers, right?
Hey, Christian Gonzalez is nasty. He's nasty good now. That dude, there's a hooper. But Quinyon is saying, so if he get 31 million, what do I get if I got first team All Pro next to my name and Super Duper Bowl? Okay. Want
to switch gears here? Little good, bad, and indifferent WNBA. I don't know if you guys know this, but Sophie Cunningham, you can't buy her shoe already. Sold out. Can't buy it. There's they also Angel Reese, she got her Barbie coming out.
Uh-oh.
So All-Star weekend was, maybe the game didn't deliver what they want, but the ratings did deliver because the WNBA had more viewers than the NBA's All-Star game from this current season. So they're starting to get the traction and the growth in that sense, right? But for whatever reason, both Sophie and Caitlin Clark gets in the media treated a completely different way. As they were leading up to the All-Star game, they were having like a carpeted event, and USA Today was basically sitting there saying that she wasn't on the carpet because she was getting her hair done. Well, they had to do a retraction that she actually had an obligation through her nonprofit, her Caitlin Clark Foundation, and that's why she wasn't at the orange carpet. So they had to do a retraction there, right? And that's not it, because obviously, the for whatever reason we're playing the white black thing when it comes to the WNBA. And even the people reporting on it are doing it so because when you see USA Today, again, one of their columnists had to apologize after invoking Emmett Till in referencing to, Caitlin Clark's fans. The reporter had to do another retraction. I just don't get why we have to continue to.
Steve, you know what it comes down to, man? I'm going to be honest with y'all.
What's up, brother?
We have a people struggle to talk about how much race has impacted the beginning of America, the growth of America. And I don't think we have honest conversations about race in America. Again, Ryan Clark just got fired for spitting out facts on situations multiple times. People don't want to hear that. People just don't want to hear that. You know what I mean? They deny facts, they deny the truth, and they want to live in a world where we can just, play sports and act like nothing else matters. We can't. There's a pink elephant in every aspect of our culture. You know what I'm saying? And we have to address. I think talking through it is better, but I think you have certain ethnic groups or certain groups that just don't want to hear that, man. And until we start put sports aside, until we start having honest, straightforward, direct conversations where we're not worried about whose feelings are getting hurt, we're going to have this continual situation where people bring up, well, don't forget, there's a black-white factor here. So that may impact why, we didn't report this car crash, why we didn't talk about this with this player or this, it's just, people, we're not being honest with ourselves as a society. You know what I mean? How much it's been taught to us through media, through our parents, through whatever region you live in, whatever bubble you live in. How big race has been for you growing up. They want to try to exclude it from sports. It's impossible. You know what I mean? And it's tough, man. And then this is going to continue to boil over. This is going to continue to be an issue until we start having direct conversations. And the truth is this: for as much as people don't want to hear it, it's shut up and dribble. It probably is some of the athletes that need to keep doing what they're doing, man. Because the only time you have white people listening to black people is when it pertains to sports in many cases. And I'm being honest, you know what I mean? So, and again, because we all live in bubbles, you know what I'm saying? So it's tough, man. This is just an ongoing thing, and for those who are confused or conflicted, welcome to America. You know what I mean? And you can't sweep this under the rug. There are issues, there are discrepancies, there are inconsistencies that are real, that we want to act like aren't real. And then you ask, like, why are we making a big deal out of this? Because she's black, because she's white. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's just, that's my take.
I mean, whatever happened to the Captain Obvious commercials? The guy, he'll come on there. I mean, Steven, if you got a son, just say your son go to he out there with these rich white kids, so this is socioeconomic. And they ain't used to him. Where you from? What part of Philly you from? And your son coming home telling you, man, the rich kid treat me like this. You're gonna be like, what the? You know what I'm saying? Because you like, why my son go here just like y'all? But because they live behind a gate and they daddy and mama do this and your son lives here, he got a scholarship to go there. Well, just imagine if you looking from that view every day. It's not something, black people are not, look, I remember one time they was talking about an issue with black and white people. And they was asking everybody on ESPN but L. Duncan. L. Duncan said, she said, I'm an expert at being black. I'm not an expert on black issues, but I've been this my whole life. That would be like asking Shaq, what is it like to be tall? Because that's all he really knows. When it comes to these issues, sometimes you need to just listen. It ain't like people just want to chime in just because I want to chime in because I don't like what's being said. If my lady was pregnant, which she is not, and she was telling me I got labor pains, if I say it don't hurt that bad, what the hell? I can't see it. What? Your stomach look the same. It's almost like, Marv, what's infuriating is the fact that, look, we don't walk around saying, hey, man, it's injustice. It's racism. No, it just is. And when it shows itself, we saying, remember that thing I was telling you about? That's what it is. Caitlin Clark knows a little bit, and Sophie Cunningham, they know a little bit what it's. I'm going to tell you who really know what it's like. Ask Cooper DeJean what it's like being the only cornerback in the world that's white. Because I remember when he got drafted, they said he played what? Jason Sehorn killed it for every white cornerback that was going to be born, had been born. But Cooper DeJean said, look, man, I'm just playing the position. I'm just out here doing it. When it comes to this, the three things in America that will always be four things: controversy, politics, money, and race. That stuff is going to be polarizing. And we can accept the first three. We can accept politics, we can accept money, we can accept controversy. When it comes to race, it's so many people that's not black telling black people how you should see it. What you looking at like that for?
Crazy.
And I'm like, I said, wait a minute. I go, it's not that I'm saying it that way. You just don't. And like you say, like we always say on here, Steven and Marv, it's like this. Sports forces us to do it because it's in our face, right? And people be like, hey, man, look, it was a race issue when it was Bird and Magic, but they were so good that we forgot that it was a race dynamic to this thing, right? It was a race dynamic to this thing. But as long as, listen, it's like when Coach Prime said, if you didn't want people to get mad about money, you should have gave us different size check. Once his check was bigger than mine, you got a problem. And if his check is the same as mine, I don't think he's the same player. Race is just one of those things where it's like people have a problem like, hey, dude, listen, let me tell you what black people and brown people not going to do. We're not going to get over it because we didn't invent this. I ain't invent this. It's just the fact that if Steven, I'm doing the thing with you, you can show me something that I ain't know. We like, see this right here? Oh, for real? I'm not going to say, man, what the hell are you talking about? That's not that. No, this is to tell somebody who know what they're looking at. If Steven is watching his son play a game and your son got hit in the back and the ref said, get over it, what the? You going to get kicked out. You want me to get over the fact the kid just hit my kid in the back? You're looking for two things. I'm looking for the ref and I'm looking for that kid's parents. Where your parents at? Oh, okay. Because I'm about to get a win before I get out of here. Somebody getting swung on. So, and like I say, it's not something that people want to talk about all the time. But one of my really, really good friends, man, best friend. We grew up in the Jim Crow South. When I used to when I moved to Brunswick, I stayed at his parents' house till I could find somewhere. It is Confederate soldier stuff, flags, all in this man's house. That's his house. I ain't gonna tell him to take it down. He letting me stay there. Before I left, he took all that stuff down. I didn't ask him to take it down. I didn't say I had a problem with it, but it's his house. Because when I lived with him, you know what I was able to do? How he thought about people that look like me? He was like, well, either I'm going about this thing wrong or, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, look, man, I ain't trying to be the black spokesperson for black people. I'm not.
But that goes to right what Marvin's saying. Sometimes it's just about having a conversation.
Yeah, and guess what? You know what's crazy and Steven, this is what I appreciate about you. You know, that's all it really be. It's just ain't nothing about that person's life gonna shift. It's just you would think that people getting death threats, their kids can't go to school. All we said was, hey man, Caitlin Clark knows what it's like to be a black person with the kind of stuff she's dealing with. What do you mean? What I just said? Oh, you think black people have to deal with that? Yes. Like, people don't like LeBron, right? People don't like LeBron sometimes because of how he looks. Because he grew up without his dad. And he wasn't supposed to do this. And he ain't got no baby mamas. And he ain't got no controversy. Because don't you know if he did?
I'm just sitting there saying, like, when you look at this whole thing, like, I just think that it's so subjective in some situations. And then, like, even what Marvin's saying, like, when you have things that are reported differently when it comes from a different color, right? So I was just talking about what they were doing with Caitlin Clark. Well, let's talk about the big news of this week was the whole Kyle Shanahan situation.
Oh.
Now, let's not forget about this, right? Because no one wanted to talk about it for a week. We had my boy Tony Farmer on here when we were doing the whole Diana Versini thing. He's a 49ers guy. That's who he covers, right? And he was burying Kyle over this stuff. First, I'll give Kyle the credit that when it was time for him to go in front of the media, he didn't do the Mike Vrabel thing. He didn't skirt this. He didn't do this. He didn't have a prior engagement. He stood up there and he said it was me. I'm the one that's at fault. When it's been going around for a week that it was the girls who was at fault. He was also in a car that has a self-driving mechanism that he could have prevented the whole thing from happening himself. He made the mistake and all that. But when you sit there and you sit on this story for the better part of 2 weeks, and the Adam Schefters of the world, the Fox News of the world, all of them, no one wants to cover this. That's why we have a problem, and that's why we don't trust you guys, because you have an objective when it comes to everything. It doesn't matter if it's Kyle Shanahan. It shouldn't matter if it was, if Draymond Green had a situation. It shouldn't matter if D'Amico Ryans had a similar situation. It shouldn't matter. It should be covered the same way.
Tiger Woods got destroyed in the media, as he should have, because he's putting people's lives in danger again. But this dude, they say he had 40 stitches in his face, almost lost his eye. They didn't speak about the alleged passenger that was with him and what kind of injuries he or she sustained. I don't know. But if this were a player, come on. If this were Hugh Jackson, Mike, you think this is getting swept under the rug? This is crazy. It was ludicrous.
No one's talking about Tony Romo's DUI. He didn't lose his broadcasting job with his DUI. Why are we talking about that?
This Kyle Shanahan thing is crazy. Here's the thing, right? So Kyle Shanahan gets in the ring, almost dies. There isn't anything from nobody. Not San Francisco beat writers, not. But here's where you know. Here's where you know when someone says Kyle Shanahan did come out there and admit fault. Why did he admit fault? Because the young lady had a dash cam. So I can see what's coming at me. Number two, they put it out 11 days later at like 12 a.m. And Adam Schefter posted his at 1 minute after, which means so Adam Schefter knew and didn't post it. Well, what is shaky? Three things about this situation is crazy. Kyle Shanahan, who is his daddy? Mike Shanahan. Boom. Chris Sims. What is similar to Chris Sims and Kyle Shanahan? Oh, they was college roommates. But he knew too, because Chris Sims said that Kyle Shanahan's wife texted his wife. That's number two. But here's the really, it was a clerical error. At first, they said the police department was going to try to blame the young lady, but it's a clerical error. And they were saying, when it comes to this whole thing, right? Hey, man, she got a dash cam, so we got to. But here's the thing, Steven and Marv. If there was no wrongdoing, why cover up? If there was no wrongdoing, why take 11 days? And all I'm saying is, the same people that will defend Kyle Shanahan will get pissed off that LeVar Ball will go to bat for his son. I was in the 2004 NFL draft. I was in the 2004 NFL draft when Arch Manning came out and said that Eli will not be going to the Chargers. And when they asked him about it, he just pulled back. No, man, I'm just saying, leverage is the thing you want in life. Kyle Shanahan said, they said that he said, I didn't think this was going to be a big deal. Do you know who you are? You were in a head-on collision. You say you dropped your phone. You got a self-driving car. If this is just me, I could be wrong. If they could have blamed it on this young girl, they would have. But they can't. If they could, they would have took a person that got a head-on. He was in a head-on. Hey, man, Kyle Shanahan was in a head-on collision. But don't tell nobody. What? Don't tell nobody. This is the greatest. Listen, Kyle Shanahan is the greatest hide and seeker you ever seen.
I'm going to just say this. I don't care whose son or daughter you are. I don't care if you're black, you're white, you're gay, you're trans, you're straight. It all should be covered the same.
Yep.
Just because he's Kyle Shanahan doesn't mean he gets to silence the media in the area and wait for him to kind of decide when he wants to address it and get out in front of it. And I think Ben's right. I think if it wasn't for the fact that she had a dash cam, that saves her from it. And that's the sad part about it, is that now in a world we live in, you have to have a camera on consistently, or when situations like this happen, I see it a lot of times. I just seen a UFC fighter. He's gotten pulled over 5 times this month. 5 times, right? And as somebody was around him, like he was being harassed, I think it was for his exhaust or something like that, right? But he has a permit to carry, so he immediately took the gun, put the gun out, gave his information. They try to make him go back in the car. He's like, "I'm out of the car, dude. You ain't get me back in the car now." As soon as one of the people that was a random's like, hey, I got this video. You want me to send that to you? All of a sudden, the cuffs came off. All of a sudden, he just had a warning, all this other stuff. If you don't have a camera in this day and age, it doesn't matter if you're white, black, whatever, when dealing with anything, when dealing with the public, when dealing with the police, etc., that's your savior right there.
Do you remember how much coverage they give Brandon Ayuk? And these are his tweets, though. See how much coverage he get? I mean, he get coverage like wall to wall, right?
Yeah.
You telling me a head coach, a prominent head coach with a very famous last name, following in his father's footsteps, that's been to 2 Super Bowls, can be in a head-on collision, and you don't hear about it for 11 days. You don't hear I'm talking about you don't hear anything. The only reason why they couldn't hide it is because training camp started. Hey man, where's Kyle at? Where is he? Do it. Send it out, bro. They said Kyle Shanahan said the reason why he didn't say anything because I didn't think it was going to be a big deal. Look, once again. It is better in America. It is far more dangerous to be innocent and poor than rich and guilty. Because if you're rich and guilty, I can get off now. Oh, I can get off. But with Kyle Shanahan had the 49ers organization, the NFL, Adam Schefter, local journalists, all in his pocket. Ain't nobody said anything. I'm to my note until he said, all right, let's put it out. Hey, John Lynch, the next time I hear you saying you're going to Brandon Ayuk house, make sure you tell me why you ain't say nothing. Oh, what about the ownership? What about the plan? So now, hey, who you think's gonna have something to say about Kyle? You don't think Brandon Ayuk's gonna come back out of his tweet closet?
Oh man, I'm sure Mr. Ayuk is planning his next video very carefully. But speaking of being very carefully, the Lincoln Financial Field ain't stupid. We getting round 2 this coming season. Delaware State, Norfolk State will again be at Lincoln Financial Field this season, and they're actually say they're planning a handful more of HBCU games that they're going to host at Lincoln Financial Field. So obviously, last season's game was a success. The Deshaun Jackson's Delaware State took out Mike Vick's Norfolk State. How excited are you guys hearing these opportunities when you see some of these bigger stadiums being able to put on some of these smaller schools like the HBCU schools when they're going to Lincoln Financial Field or whether it's AT&T Stadium, whatever. Seeing that happen now, what are your thoughts, Ben?
I love it. I think that's stadium's supposed to put on showcase for teams like that. That's how you grow. Number one, you bring in a different dynamic, you bring in a different audience, and that's what you're supposed to do. I mean, you're supposed to put on showcase. I know that the Mercedes-Benz, they do the Celebration Bowl every year, but to be able to have a NFL stadium, I mean, that's what all stadiums do. I mean, Florida Georgia's played in Jacksonville, right? You're supposed to be able to put it on. That's how you want to have the college atmosphere at these NFL stadiums. So I'm rocking with it. I mean, Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick, shout out to him. Now, Mike Vick, you might want to show up this year. It got a little ugly for y'all.
Yeah, you all got blown out.
You know what I'm saying? But it just shows that certain stadiums, owners, they get it. I'm gonna have Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson back in the league. Let's do it on an off week. Let's do that. I mean, that's the whole goal. If Kevin Hart can perform at the link, you should at least have football games being in the link, right? So yeah, I hope that more with so many teams getting new stadiums, Nashville, Kansas City, Washington, Jacksonville, Chicago. Chicago ain't even gonna be in Chicago no more, which is gonna be different. You want to be able to bring college atmosphere, college team in that atmosphere. So shout out to the link, man, for getting, for making. Because if Michael Vick and Deshaun Jackson don't realize how blessed they are to be able to come in the link like that, man, and I heard it was star-studded in 2025. I heard it was
definitely was.
I heard it was celebrities all on that side.
Stars were out in full force. Marvin, your thoughts of them returning to both bring Norfolk State and Delaware State, Deshaun and Mike there, but also incorporating that they're going to be bringing a few more HBCU games to Lincoln Financial Field.
Listen, I support anything positive. I do. This is a great thing. 2 former players, 2 former greats, and I love to see them in leadership positions. I love to see them have an impact in the lives of young men. I like that there is some type of media coverage showing that these are 2 guys who were just like all of us. We're young men, made mistakes, redemptions, life-changing experiences, man. But they've come out on top. This is America, man. This is the land of second chances and third chances and fourth chances and fifth chances. And these guys represent all that. And that's a good thing, man. So I like every aspect of what's going on here. And, I have a tremendous amount of respect for HBCUs and the opportunities they present to young Americans. And again, I'm just happy to see Deshaun and Mike in real leadership positions really have an impact out there. So, and is being promoted as that. And that's a good thing.
As we wrap it up, you know how we typically do this, guy. Give both Marvin and Ben each a chance to say their goodbyes and last thoughts for the day. Starting off with Marvin.
Yeah, listen, Marvin Powell III. You can find me on all the social media. The handle Marvin on the mic. You catch me regularly here, the Fan in the End, with Steve Rychel and the great Ben Troupe. You can catch me 2-3 days a week with USCJ, talking everything USC football, and just really excited about football season coming up here. We get the first preseason game in like 9 days. Got the first USC game in like 31 days, but who's counting? This is a great time to be alive, and football season couldn't come fast enough. That said, I will absolutely be launching Marvin on the mic for the month of August, approaching the college football season, and just excited for that and just everything else that I've been doing as well.
Ben, your final thoughts, your thoughts of the day.
Man, looking forward to starting. Get it back going on my nonprofit, the Uncommon Crew. That's the Uncommon CRU, creating a real you in an uncommon way. Grown men, helping young men become better men. Listen, if you have a child between the age of 0 and 3, and they do not want to take a nap, you should be able to call the police, and they should be able to get fined for resisting arrest. I don't care how you feel. And as always, Marvin Powell for Hall of Fame. If you don't know, you should know. And if you ain't saying it, start saying it. Listen, don't watch me watch TV, but make sure you're watching the Fan in the End. We some of the best out there doing it. And if you don't believe us, keep watching us and see.
It's always a pleasure kicking it, talking sports with you gentlemen here on the Fan in the End. As always, another fun episode in the book. Appreciate everyone's time. Make sure you guys are locked in. Is that everything works out for next week? We're going to be talking with, former Sixer, former Laker, Jermaine Jones should be hopping on, talking to basketball. Hopefully, we're able to get him
76er. That's crazy, man. That is just crazy to say out loud. It's okay, Steven. We're gonna listen. I'm gonna have to talk to your son and say, how did your daddy really react? You want me to tell you what he really did? Yeah.
He was the one more excited than I was. He was the one more excited than I was.
Hey, man,
he was like, can we not do the baseball game there?
Listen, I just hope that when you go to a 76ers game, LeBron, you and LeBron just catch eyes. You go like this, like, I'm looking right at you, Steve, and you like, I love you too, LeBron. I know. And he throw you his jersey.
We'll see about that. But other than that, another one in the books. I'm Steve. That's Ben. That's Marvin. Another episode of the Fan in the End in the books. See you guys on the rebound, my friends. Peace on out.
All right, y'all.